In a small village nestled in the lush landscape of Togo, there lived a girl named Afi. She was a radiant soul, loved by everyone in her community for her kindness and vibrant spirit. Her parents, Kofi and Amma, cherished her deeply, proud of the intelligent and compassionate young woman she was becoming. Afi's life was filled with promise. She excelled in her studies, always eager to learn more about the world beyond her village. However, fate had other plans. On her 18th birthday, Afi fell gravely ill. Despite the best efforts of her family and local healers, she passed away, leaving her parents and the entire village in mourning. Years later, in the bustling city of Abidjan, Ivory Coast, a young woman named Koffi began her journey at university. Koffi was intelligent, driven, and curious about the world, traits that endeared her to her peers and professors alike. There was something uniquely familiar about her to those who met her, as if she carried an ancient wisdom within her. Among her admirers was a young man named Antoine. Antoine was captivated by Koffi from the moment he saw her. They shared many classes, and over time, a deep bond formed between them. They studied together, shared meals, and talked about their dreams and aspirations. Anthony fell deeply in love with Koffi and eventually mastered the courage to ask her to marry him. Koffi smiled warmly at Anthony's proposal. "I will be honored to be your wife, Anthony," she said. "But you must go to Togo and seek my parents' blessings first." Confused but willing to honor her request, Anthony set off for Togo. After a long journey, he arrived in the village where Kofi had instructed him to go. He found Kofi and Amma's home and introduced himself, explaining his purpose. Kofi and Amma listened intently. When Anthony finished, they exchanged a sorrowful glance before Amma spoke. "Our daughter, Afi, died many years ago, just as she turned 18," she said, her voice trembling. "We have no other children." Anthony was stunned. "But Kofi, ah, she's alive and well in Ivory Coast. She told me to come here to seek your blessings from our marriage." Kofi sighed and looked at Anthony with a mixture of pity and understanding. "Perhaps you have met someone who resembles our Kofi, but she is not our daughter. Afi's spirit left this world long ago." Heartbroken and confused, Anthony returned to Abidjan. He rushed to the university, desperate to see Kofi and make sense of what he had learned. But when he arrived, Kofi was nowhere to be found. Her dorm room was empty, her belongings gone, and no one had seen her since he left for Togo. Days turned into weeks, and Antoni's search for Koffi yielded nothing. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. Unable to let go, he visited the university's record office, hoping to find some clue. To his astonishment, there was no record of a student named Koffi enrolled at the university. Antony's heart ached with the weight of his loss and the mystery of Koffi's disappearance. He couldn't help but think of the strange connection between Afi and Koffi. He began to believe that Koffi was indeed the reincarnation of Afi, sent back to complete an unfinished journey. Years passed, and Anthony carried the memory of Koffi with him always. He often visited Togo, spending time with Koffi and Amma, who had come to accept him as a part of their family. Through them, he felt a connection to the woman he had loved and lost. One evening, as the sun set over the village, Anthony sat with Koffi and Amma, sharing stories and memories. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves, and for a moment Anthony thought he heard a faint familiar laugh. He smiled, believing that somewhere, somehow, Afi's spirit was at peace, and that Koffi had fulfilled her promise in guiding him to her true home. And in that belief, Anthony found solace, knowing that love transcends the boundaries of life and death, and that souls destined to meet will always find their way back to one another.